All right, so this go around, we'll be looking at America. Did you know? Facts about America you may not know from QI. Never, I don't think I've ever took and watched or reacted to anything from QI. I've taken and seen clips here and there, but um, yeah, let's get to it, shall we?
Where are 1% of American adults?
Oh, I imagine we could find out, couldn't we? We could use Google Earth, because some of them are quite big.
There's Ron.
Let's give it to Jimmy Carr.
1% of the population, which is, what's the population? It's about
300 million, isn't it?
So you're talking about between 2.5 and 3 million, say.
Jail.
Yes. G for jail. English spelling of jail, of course, but it is G for jail.
Really, that many people? 3 million people are locked up.
Well, 2.3, which is 1 in every 99.1 adults.
All of those guys there are innocent as well, because they all were arrested for having switchblades, but they've all only got one arm.
I would say that's that's a sad fact, to be honest with you. The fact that 1 in 99, it's probably less than that now, but it's just, yeah, we definitely like our prisons here, especially the for-profit ones. Who knew that corporate prisons would ever be a thing?
Proportionally, Americans in prison more than twice as many as South Africans, more than 3 times as many as the Iranians, more than 6 times as many as the Chinese. No society in history has imprisoned more of its citizens than the United States of America.
We do pretty well, though, don't we? We sort of top the European League.
We're ahead of China, Turkey, and India.
Yes.
Yeah, with 148 prisoners per 100,000.
It's the 3 strikes and they're out.
That's been the problem. Yeah.
I mean, a legal system based on baseball just seems bizarre. You don't understand the law. It's all very complicated. What's simple? What do people like? Baseball. Right then. Here's the rule.
3 strikes and you're out. Yeah.
Mental.
What it means is if the first 2 strikes, the first 2 crimes you're convicted of are serious enough, the third one, no matter how trivial, will get a life sentence, 25 years or more. So, for example, Leandro Andrade is serving 2 consecutive 25-year terms for shoplifting 9 videotapes.
He took 9?
Yes. Kevin Webber, 26 years for stealing 4 chocolate chip cookies. It's astonishing.
It's really...
Okay, what were the first 2 crimes is the question. That's a stupid rule, though. It really is. I mean, hell, I don't think it's ever been like that in South Carolina. The meth heads around here taking still every time they get out. So, within 3-year spans, they'll be jailed 40 different times because they're given probation, put in. After a month, they're given good time. They're let back out. They steal all over again, or they take and do drugs and get caught for paraphernalia or possession, and then put back in. Methadonia's fun.
It's stupid, isn't it? Because if you know you're on this sort of deal...
Yeah.
Take 5.
Yes.
That is the idea.
Do another murder. Do a bank job. There's no point...
There's no point doing anything trivial.
If you're going to get caught.
It is a bit bonkers. But the racial numbers are a bit worrying. And the gender numbers, it's 1 in 30 men aged 20 to 34 is behind bars. But for black males, that's 1 in 9. 1 in 9. There are more 17-year-old black people in jail than in college in America.
From about 1990 on, you can thank Joe Biden for that with his crime bill during Clinton's presidency, and before that, Reagan and Bush and every other president. It's been nice to see the policies that have been written in the last 30 years really start to take and shy away from, try to be more equitable across the board with punishments. But yeah, the 1 in 9 black male being locked up. And the thing about it is, like, you can say whatever you want, but whenever, after 300 years of slavery, and then almost 100 years to where being treated as second, third class citizen, and try to be intimidated not to vote, sitting on the back of the bus, whites only places, and things of that nature. And then you take and write laws to where, here, we'll give you help, but basically if it's a 2-parent household, it makes it that much harder. So it's easier to take and get it with just a 1-parent household. Like, there's so many different factors that factor into that the claims by anybody in the U.S. going, oh, there's no systemic racism here. You're a fucking idiot. We've been addressing it for the last 30 years. But you can't take and tell me that the systems that we had in place for so fucking long haven't had an effect and aren't still trying to be dismantled at different levels of government across the nation. Because while it's different at the federal level, there's different states to where, uh, well, there's people are segregated by a little bit more than just income. Minneapolis being one, Jackson, Mississippi. There's quite a few that rank up there. That's more than just socioeconomic, and all due to policy. Every bit of it due to policy. So, yeah, uh, we're working on it. We've got it mostly beat at most levels, but there's still pockets of stuff that's just stupid.
So 5% of the world are American, 25% of all prisoners
Isn't the real
are American.
controversy with this the business end of it?
Well, that's true. It's also, as you say, right, it is a business.
Because it's not just license plate, they make loads of stuff.
Well, one of the things I should have said when talking about contraband is that you're not allowed to bring into America anything that's been made by forced labor or prisons. But in America, you could almost say, if you were so minded, that they've reinvented the slave trade. They produce...
Well, under the United States Constitution, that banned the amendment that banned slavery takes and makes the provision that the only way slavery is able to exist is under the penal code. So, if you get arrested and you get put in jail and you get sent to prison, guess what? You can it's slave labor. You can be put to work, and people go, "Oh, it's the reason why you don't break the law." Oh, that's the reason why people have human fucking rights. If it's against human rights, if slavery goes against human rights, it doesn't matter if it's part of the fucking penal code. It's against human rights, dumbass. Simple as that. But they don't look at it that way here. Nope. Because the state's got to get that free labor.
For example, 100% of all military helmets, ammunition belts, bulletproof vests, ID tags and other items uniform, 93% of domestically produced paints, 36% of home appliances, 21% of office furniture, which allows the United States to compete with factories in Mexico because, of course, obviously the workers can't refuse to work for 25 cents an hour.
I'd very much like to say something hilarious, but something must be done.
It is.
We...
Yeah,
it feels a bit more question-timey, this is.
It is a bit amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's extraordinary. Yeah. It's slavery by the back door.
Exactly, wasn't it?
Which is another video that I've got.
Oh, my God.
Greeks used it for earache. Columbus took 80 tons of it to America, and Henry VIII made it compulsory. What am I talking about?
Oh, hang on a second. What's the theme of the show? It's joints?
Yes.
I'm going to guess marijuana.
Ooh, marijuana is the right answer. Cannabis, yes.
So he took 80 tons to America?
Yes.
You're saying that he's
Columbus
a trafficker? Columbus is a drug trafficker.
He must have had a very big sphincter.
It was pretty enormous.
Pretty nervous when you got the customs, I would imagine.
Well, as you probably know, cannabis plant is also used for the creation of hemp and ropes. He had tons of it just on his ship alone of rope made from hemp. And also it was made under King James, it was made compulsory for the colonials to grow it and to use it. They mostly wore hemp clothing. And hemp was used as an oil, as a lubricant, and all kinds of things. As you can buy hemp oil now. But by the middle of the 19th century, cannabis was recommended by the US Pharmacopoeia for the following disorders: neuralgia, tetanus, typhus, cholera, rabies, dysentery, alcoholism, anthrax, leprosy, incontinence, snakebite, gout, tonsillitis, and insanity.
So that seemed to be a list of pretty much everything, though. I would imagine if you went into the chemist, it sounds like they only had one thing. If you got one, I'll have a think.
Well, there's a Greek word for that, panacea, a cure-all, literally. And so they did more or less think it was a panacea, as they did so many drugs, as they did heroin when that came out, and cocaine.
Well, in defence of both of those, it will take the edge off.
There are still people who believe it. People are very keen for the legalization of medicinal marijuana.
I think it should be legalized across all formats. It's a fucking plant. The industry here, the fact that the average person is able to make it, and if you know what you're doing, you can turn it into stuff like rope, or you can turn it into fabrics and stuff like that, and it's got so many different uses if you don't smoke it. It's one of the reasons why, outside of John D. Rockefeller, after the antitrust law took and broke up his oil business, he started the pharma along with the education system here in the U.S. for the most part. It's one of the reasons why it was outlawed, because it threatened profits. Because who wants to take a medicine that's being billed to you that it can cure this or cure that, when you can grow a plant that, if you take and make a tincture out of it, or you take and make a tea with it, or if you make a topical with it, or if you smoke it, it can do the same damn thing, because it's got multiple different use cases. With smoking, to get high, basically being the one everybody associates it with, but it's got multiple different uses. It's been used across millennia, since the beginning of time, for an assortment of ailments. So yeah, there's that.
It seems weird that we haven't got medicinal marijuana, but we've got medicinal heroin.
Yes, isn't
That's
it?
kind of an odd quirk, isn't it?
Well, I suppose so, except that, of course, there is no real painkiller available except the one that we get from the poppy, which includes morphine and heroin. We just can't make a drug that does the same thing.
Mummy's hugs.
Mummy's hugs and kisses. Oh, sweetheart. That's so
And
lovely.
then if they don't work, heroin.
Yeah. Spot on the money, Jack. Absolutely.
What's so darn shocking about this map?
Is darn important?
Darn is very
thing?
important,
So
yes.
it's something to do with knitting?
Knitting?
No, not that
Weaving.
kind of darn, where in the United States, what might darn be for?
Darn.
Darn.
People who say darn?
Yes, people who say darn. It's a euphemism for damn from 1781, and this is its jizz score, okay? It's statistics, people, okay? There was an analysis done of 9 billion words
9 billion
in American
ejaculation.
tweets.
It's bad, but orange is really bad.
9 billion words in American tweets, and then they geocoded them, so they analysed where they are, pinpointing on a map, and then they displayed them as heat maps. So this is darn, and if you look at the more the word is used, the darker the red colour, and the less it's used, the darker the blue. So it shows that darn is used very heavily in the northern central states, well, in tweets at the very least. So have a look at this one. What word do you think this map represents? This is another American swear word.
Golly.
You're close, it's gosh.
Gosh.
It's gosh.
Oh, that's purity.
So heavily used around Texas, you can see where the red is, and hardly at all up in New England. They don't use gosh very much.
quite like that.
I like these ones.
Is this words that people use when they jizz? Is that what it is?
I didn't know such a thing existed, like a heat map for different words for different regions. Like, that's kind of interesting. Actually, it's really interesting, to be honest with you, because the amount of data you got to collect to actually make a map of that nature seems like it'd be quite exhaustive.
Gosh darn it. I'm sorry, Miss
Call
Ellen.
it now. This show's changing, isn't it?
And I'm just trying to wrestle it back. So have a look at this one. Very heavily used in New England, hardly used in the southeast at all.
God damn.
It's asshole.
Asshole.
Yeah. That, and who thought there
Why
was
do they
a...
not use it? They don't say asshole in Arkansas. then.
Georgia.
Or the Carolinas.
Yeah, not used in Florida.
It's not used in
It's not so much people are assholes, we call them dickheads.
Montana because there's nobody there.
That's true.
Nobody there.
It's not often you see a map of the jizz score for arsehole, is it? It's not a...
Right, Stephen's gone.
No. So here's the question is, do you think that people who swear a lot are more articulate or less articulate?
More.
Why?
Because they've got more words.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Wank and bloody and things like that. People who don't swear haven't got those words.
You were doing so well, and now you're going to hardly appear in the programme at all. No, there's a swearing fluency test, and if you do this test and you ask people to write down how many swear words they can think of in 2 minutes, the people who will succeed best are the people who are the most articulate. Although it depends on what language you speak. So Japanese, very, very few swear words.
Dutch bar G's. They can swear uninterrupted, most of them, for 2 minutes without repetition or hesitation.
Can they really?
Yeah, Dutch is really good. They've got, what's that word? Schwaffling.
What does it mean?
Well, you certainly couldn't say it on Dutch television. It means to bang your penis against the Taj Mahal.
Who amongst us hasn't had that urge?
Farmers, gentlemen, hate Shakespeare. There's a picture of American farmers hating Shakespeare. Something to do with Shakespeare caused immense trouble to American farming. It's not Shakespeare's fault at all.
Not some farming practice that's hidden away in the sonnets or something.
It was an eccentric drug manufacturer called Eugene Schieferlin, and he decided that America should contain examples of every bird species named in the works of Shakespeare. And one particular species didn't exist in America. And he thought, oh, I'll introduce these. He introduced 100 to send.
That's quite interesting. If you hear anything in the background, my kid just woke up, mean mugged me, and then turned the AC on. So, that kid. What was the purpose of doing that? Cataloging all? That's okay. Interesting.
Central Park, and there are now estimated something like 200 million of them.
It's not the common pigeon, is it?
No, they come in huge flocks.
Ducks.
Starlings is the right answer. Starlings.
And they don't like them because they eat the seeds?
Unfortunately, what they do is they befoul everything in their droppings that they don't eat. They're such huge flocks. Vast flocks.
I was on Brighton Pier one time, and there are lots of starlings there, and at dusk they do that.
They're beautiful.
And it's really amazing to watch.
Yeah, it's a
if you stand
wonderful
on the pier. And then someone said that starlings come from hundreds of miles away to join in this coastal flocking.
Yeah.
And they come from as far away as Germany and Poland.
A lot of the Polish ones are coming over here now and taking away a lot of the, British starlings' jobs. You'll see a lot of British starlings just sat on the prom like this, come bloody typical.
Yeah.
They're the lazy British starlings who don't want to work.
Why don't they just get up and join in, you know? But they won't, will they? It's typical.
No, you're right. The flocks are up to 1 million, some of them. I mean, enormous flocks.
And are they just having fun? Or is it a good way of eating?
No, in the case of fish, I know that what they're really doing is presenting, as it were, an enormous fish that sort of glistens and frightens some predators, and in other cases it confuses and dazzles, and so they're a lot safer than...
Starlings are basically scared of sharks.
I'm not so sure about the
shark. They might leap out of the West Pier.
You may laugh.
The turn of the conversations within this, I love the fact that the correlation between people coming over and taking jobs with the starlings, absolutely hilarious. But then with the fish, what? It's a heck of a change of direction for conversation, ain't it?
But when was a starling last killed by a shark?
That's true.
So it works. You're absolutely right. It's 100%. It is 100% historically proven that this shall keep us safe from sharks. Come on, boys. Fum! And they're like that.
So, good. Excellent. Starlings were brought to America in an attempt to introduce all the birds in Shakespeare to the US. They're now major pets.
Interesting information on some of that, like the introduction of starlings, because, you know, taking all the birds from Shakespeare's writings and stuff like, which still makes absolutely zero sense to me, but whatever. American sensibilities being what they are. Even back then, apparently, we did some crazy stuff. Yeah, the whole thing with the jail system and the marijuana kind of, those are two subjects that kind of grind my gears. Just because of the propensity of, number one, how many people have been put in jail because of marijuana. That's one of the reasons why we've got such a large population. Nonviolent offenses such as marijuana possession. Not even the intent to distribute. It's just... we got so many problems sometimes, and we got so much ignorance based around a lot of stuff. Like a lot of folks like, oh, drugs or this, that, and the other. I'm like, you grow it in the fucking yard. A drug is something you get from what? A drug company, which is what Big Pharma is. They're called drug companies for a reason. They make drugs. Ooh, not that hard to figure out. Marijuana is a plant. You can grow it in the ground in your yard. And if you can make certain teas, or you can take and get fertilizers to enhance your yields and stuff like that. Be a really happy farmer. But you can grow it personally in your yard. That's a drug. How? Because people can say what they want. Well, cocaine's plant too. No, cocaine is the processed result of the coca plant. Processed. Same thing with heroin. It might come from the poppy, but it has to be processed into heroin. You get the fucking you get the you grow the pot, you take and get the bud, you take and dry it, and then you smoke it. No processing necessary. Now, if you want to take and make edibles, it's a wee bit different of a story, because then you got to take and either get a hot press and press it, or take and use the a lot of folks use butane and take and get stuff out that way. So it like, but even that, you're not taking and cutting it with stuff like, I don't know, gasoline. But no, let's take and put generations of people in jail because of a plant that what would hurt John D. Rockefeller's early drug companies' profits. And the other thing is, it was very much a racist reasons why it was banned in the first place. Outside of that, because you also had the people that would come over to take and work the fields for the farmers that smoked marijuana. And of course, as is wont to do, you get to talk with folks, stuff gets passed around, become very popular with the youth and with jazz musicians. Early jazz musicians, and even today, 90% of them aren't white. So guess what? We got to put a stop to that shit. So it's very much a prohibition based off of racist prejudices. But we're going to sit here and go, oh, there's no medical benefit. Even though it's been shown there's numerous medical benefits, and it's been used for centuries for medical benefits. Oh, no medical benefits, but you take and read the paper, you take and read the reports, them taking and using different cannabinoids that are found within the plant itself, and it kills cancer cells. There's no medical benefit. Shut up! Stop putting people in jail for stupid shit like marijuana. Put them in jail for like killing people, raping people, burglaring people's houses. Put them in jail for stuff like that. Everything else that's not a violent crime, unless it's pushing an illicit drug like fentanyl or cocaine or heroin, stuff like that. Unless it's something of that nature, ticketable offense, a misdemeanor, doesn't go on your record, or it shouldn't go on your record. You just get a ticket, you show up to court, pay it, or, take and work with the courts and community service, not jail time. Stop making these corporations and these states money off the back of people who have been put in jail, because there's no reformation being done whatsoever. It's a big scam. See, stuff like this sends me on rants. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Y'all continue to love yourselves. Peace.